dispatchers. We're expanding into West Hempstead, into Great Neck. Our goal is only to be there to service the community. We help people with boosts, car lockouts, flat tires, and out of gas calls. And the goal is to be there to help the community quickly. That's always been our goal. We only just want to get in, get out, do what needs to be done to help out the community. Our annual operating budget is not a lot. We keep our expenses very low. The equipment doesn't wear out so quickly, so we're able to use it over and over again. It's only about $25,000 operating budget, but like I said, to recruit new members, each one is an extra $500 to recruit new members. So we are trying to recruit new members. I have wonderful events like this to try and get the word out to the community and what we do. And we've had several events over the course of the year. We have a defensive driving class that we sponsor in conjunction with the Gerald JCC. It's a phenomenal class. If you haven't taken it yet, definitely consider taking it. It saves you 10% on your car insurance for 3 years. Nice, easy class. And the instructor not so dry. It's enjoyable. It's a night out. Great course to take. And like I said, you save yourself 10% on your car insurance for 3 years. We also did a car safety seat inspection event recently, which is very important. I think the inspector said that over 90% of the cars that they inspected, the car seats were not installed safely. So low lane or God forbid, a person should get into a car accident, the car seat is only as good as how well it's installed. So we don't want to see people in an accident with the car seat not protecting their children. So Baruch Hashem, the community has a lot of children in the community, and we want to make sure that they're all safe. We would do these events every week if necessary. If people expressed an interest, the state troopers would come back as often as we want them. So please avail yourself of that opportunity as well. It's a very important event. Make sure that your car seats are installed properly. At this point, I'd like to call upon Greenberg to speak. Greenberg is originally from England. He has been here for close to 20 years. He is the HaRav of Machzikei Torah in Rockaway, and he is also the Mashpia at the Center's business office in Bronx. He has agreed very graciously to come speak on HaRav's behalf and address the Olam with some words of chizuk.
This morning it's Min Matzah Minoi that is being hosted by the Machzikei family, who themselves are a bundle of chesed. And therefore it's a perfect shidduch, it's an im ve'agefen, and on behalf of everybody we want to thank you for opening your home with David and your Ishes Chayil. You should only have a house of simcha and nachas and doing the Ratzon Hashem. An organization like Chaverim, of course, is built on one concept, and that is doing things with Shem Shemayim. These people are volunteers, they don't get paid, and it's an amazing thing if we look at our own lives and try and think, when was the last time we did something L'Shem Shemayim? Really L'Shem Shemayim. Even those that came this morning, myself, I came this morning, L'Shem Shemayim, I came to help out an organization. But that lasted until I stepped up to the omelet. And then that took away the L'Shem Shemayim. 2 months ago I had the dubious pleasure of being one of the winners of the Ura raffle. Everybody knows that Ura has a once-a-year raffle with tremendous prizes, and I was lucky to win one of the prizes. I won the Lishma prize this year, the Lishma prize, and so I really am the poster boy for doing things L'Shem Shemayim. But if you knew how much Shaloi Lishma was involved in winning that Lishma prize, you'd really call it the Shaloi Lishma prize. Analyze things that we do and try and think, am I really doing L'Shem Shemayim? Things that we do, I'm the Chaverim, I'm the Mocker. We're doing it because we want our wives to think better about us. That minimizes the L'Shem Shemayim. Our kids should see that we're doing something good. For covered, for all the tiny little things that creep into the reasons why we do things. It takes away a little bit of the L'Shem Shemayim. But I think Chaverim, people that are giving up the most precious thing in their lives, that is not money, and that is rather time. Anybody here knows that time is the most precious thing. The most precious thing that we have nowadays, in the gullus of that we're in. And these people give up their time at the most inconvenient moments in order to do one thing only, to help out another year. When we talk about Lishma, we don't really say L'Shem Hashem, we say L'Shem Shemayim. Why do we say L'Shem Shemayim? For the sake of heaven? Let's get straight to the point. We're doing it L'Shem Hashem because Hashem wants us to do it. Why do we use a code word, L'Shem Shemayim? The answer is, I believe, Gemara Chagiga tells us that the heaven is called Shemayim because it's made up of Eish and Mayim. Eish and Mayim in the world of Teva cannot coexist. But because Hashem asked them to coexist, the Eish and Mayim got together and made Shalom, and that is represented by the word Shamayim. A little bit of Eish in it, a little bit of Mayim. The perfect madrega of doing something L'Shem Hashem is to do it even when it goes against the Teva. Even when it goes against the Teva. Someone comes home from work, he's dog tired, and he wants to sit down and relax and just unwind from the day. And all of a sudden, the dispatcher gets hold of him and says, "There's a flat tire out on Broadway." And the person going against the Teva of wanting to stay on his Barca lounger and to chill out, that is L'Shem Shemayim. That is the same madrega of the Eish and Mayim going against their Teva to coexist together. And the Chaverim, as we know, are available 24 hours a day. If we call them even in the middle of the night, they'll come out if we need them. They once asked Shmuel Salant, the Rav in Yerushalayim, he didn't have hours for shilas. Most Rabbanim, even in 100 years ago, had fixed hours. You could get a hold of them. But Shmuel Salant did not have a fixed hour. He was available 24/7. So someone asked him, "Rebbe, why don't you have fixed hours? And then you'll be able to spend some time for yourself." He said the mitzvah of doing a chesed, which is answering shilas, is the mitzvah of halachta b'dracha, to walk in the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu have fixed hours? Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, "I'm only available from 9 to 11 in the morning and from 9 to 10 at night"? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is 24/7. So in the mitzvah of halachta b'dracha, that we should go in the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I also have to be available 24/7, says Rav Shmuel Salant. But the Chaverim here are not only going against the Teva of keeping their quality time for themselves, they share it with someone else, but they do it 24/7, which is a tremendous show of Halachta B'dracha. When Yitzhak Rabin, when he was assassinated, so one of the famous hespedim in the non-Jewish world was given by the then President William Jefferson Clinton. And he finished off his hesped, quote unquote, by saying, "Shalom Chaver." Shalom Chaver. And that became a famous phrase. It's a little bit sad that when we think about the word Chaver or Chaverim, I have to go to President Clinton to know what a Chaver is. But what did he mean by saying Shalom Chaver? I can tell you what he didn't mean, but if he would have meant it, he would have been mechaven to a Rashi. The word Chaverim is found twice in Tanakh. The first time it's found, which is always the essence of the word, is in Shoftim Perek Chaf, Pasuk Yud Aleph. When Klal Yisrael was decided to make a civil war against Binyamin after the story of Pelegesh Begiva, so the Pasuk says, "Vayosef Kol Ish Yisrael El Ha'ir." It says, "Ish Echad Chaveru." It's the first time it's mentioned. Now it says already Ish Echad. So what does Chaverim add that Ish Echad doesn't add? So Rashi says the definition of Chaverim is Shove Be'etza Achas. That everybody came with the same mindset. In other words, when people gather in a room, even though they're coming together for a common cause, but there's sometimes different agendas. I'm coming from one angle, another person coming from another angle. The word Chaverim tells us that everybody that's involved in that set of Chaverim have the same eitzes, the same goals entirely. So if President Clinton would have meant Shalom Chaver, if that's what he would have meant, that you're my Chaver because we both wanted the same thing, we both had the same agendas, that would have been a beautiful thing. I think he was just using that phrase as Chaver as a pal. But that's not what a Chaver is. Chaver is not a pal. A Chaver is someone that has the same goal. This organization is called Chaverim for two reasons. First of all, everybody that's involved, all the 70 volunteers and the dispatchers, they are Mamash Chaverim, they have one common goal. And you know what the common goal is? The common goal is the same common goal as the people that they're helping out. And that is to get the person back on the road as fast as possible. Fast as possible. And they give up their time to give other people the time that they sorely need. Chaverim is a beautiful word. The Matcha Chaverim is 260. What's the relevance of that? We know when we talk about good people or bad people, we talk about someone who has an ayin toiv, a good eye, ayin ra. Svarim ask, why does it only say one eye? Should say a ayin toivin. I have two good eyes. An ayin ra, I have two bad eyes. Why is it only one eye? One eye is good, one eye is bad. So the Svarim say, Kadosh Baruch Hu made us all with two eyes. The default of each eye, one eye is an ayin ra by default, and one eye is ayin toiv. When Pirkei Avos talks about someone being an ayin toiv, that means not that he uses the default eye, which is toiv for good. He takes the ayin ra, and that one eye, and he's able to overpower its default and to make it an ayin toiv as well. So now he's working with two ayin toiv. And the same thing with ayin ra. Ayin ra is someone, unfortunately, that's not taken the ayin ra eye and used it for bad, but he's even taken the ayin toiv and he's used it chas v'shalom for ra. Chaverim is 260. An ayin, an eye, gematria of ayin is 130. Two eyes is therefore 260. That's what Chaverim are. Chaverim are people that both a ayin, both of their eyes are the toiv, are for good. How can I help out another yid? How can I help out? And these are people that I believe love doing chesed. Because I can't imagine, let's say in the middle of a winter, to be crawling under a car when it's 3 degrees outside, and the teeth are chattering, and the last place I'd like to be is on the cold concrete of the sidewalk, helping out someone, or in the freezing cold. It must be that these people are born with or they've somehow been nurtured to want to do a chesed. Pasuk in Micha, it talks about being a perfect Jew. It says, what does God want from us? Kiyam asois mishpat va'avas chesed. Chavetz Chaim says, it doesn't say asois chesed, doing chesed. It says avas chesed, loving to do chesed. That's what a Baal chesed is. A Baal chesed is someone that loves to do chesed, and when one cannot do it, one feels that they are missing something in their life. When Mashiach comes, it's going to say, Efes lo yeh b'cha evyon. There will be no evyonim in the world. And probably when Mashiach comes, there won't be any Chaverim in the world. The organization will become defunct because cars won't break down. Cars are made nowadays to break down in order that you should buy a new car and you should buy new tires. Cars won't need to run on gas. Cars will never break down. Your radial tires will never go flat. Chaverim will be a thing of the past. Chaverim will be something that you'll find in history books. When grandparents will tell their grandchildren, I lived in a time when there was once something called Chaverim, and they'll say, Bobby, what is a Chav? What did Chaverim do? And they say, well, they changed the tire. Why would you need to change a tire? What does it mean? That you got locked out of your car? How's that possible? There'll be a time one day when Efes lo yeh b'cha evyon, there won't be any Evyonim in the world. But there's a Sifri. The Sifri says, on the word lo yeh b'cha evyon, Yidden won't be Evyonim. But Umas ha'olam, there'll still be Evyonim. Why? Why in my bracha, that I've been told in Parshas Re'eh, that there won't be any poor people, is part of that bracha that the goyim will still be poor? I think the answer is because there are people that are such balei chesed, they are such ahavei oyavei chesed, that if they were to live in a world where it's impossible to reach out to someone and help them out, they wouldn't feel fulfilled. They'll feel like they're missing something in their life. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, there won't be any of Yoni Masach Klal Yisrael. There'll be no flat tires in Klal Yisrael. But if you really want to do chesed, there'll still be Umas Ha'olam that you can reach out. You'll be able to reach out to the Umas Ha'olam. Shmuel Birnbaum was once walking in the street, and an indigent came over to him and stuck out his hand and asked him for a quarter, claiming he needed to get fare for a bus, or for a subway, I don't know what it was. So Shmuel immediately took out a quarter and gave it to him. So there's a Talmud walking with him, and the Talmud said afterwards, Rebbe, there's a law in the Torah of loisei chanim. You can't give someone from another ummah something for free. You gave him a quarter for free. So Shmuel Birnbaum said it wasn't for free. It wasn't for free. He said, I was fine-tuning my midah of chesed. It was an avodah for me. It's an avodah to take your hand into your pocket and pull out a quarter. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us in the word of Binyamin Chaverim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to not only embrace chesed, but to love doing chesed. I can't think of a better organization than Chaverim that are the poster boys for people who have avas chesed. As the coordinator said, the budget is not great. However, there is a budget, and behind every budget is a kehillah that should respond, a community that responds. We are the recipients of their chesed, and they give up their time, which is very precious. We should give up something which is a little bit more precious, which is our money. We should be balei chesed in the response to their chesed. We should be zoicha all that we should be chaverim in a different sense of the word, which in the word of being be'etza achas. It shouldn't be to do a chesed, but it should be to embrace a time, a better time of a Machzikei and every
Everybody can stay and watch